This is the High School Crossfire. Welcome back.
Resolved. Insecurity, food insecurity, ladies and gentlemen, versus increasing the tax base. Do you know what it's going to bring to us, ladies and gentlemen? Listen. When there is food insecurity, first of all, we talked about high prices. When prices are high, people are going to spend more. Listen, remember, food is a necessity. When people are spending more, they're not going to have a disposable income, because when you have disposable income, you're able to save. And when you save, you invest. Ladies and gentlemen, they are talking about increasing the tax base. Increasing the tax base, yet they're going to hike the prices of commodities. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, they are talking about taxing primary products of agriculture. We are not saying that agriculture is not taxed. Income on agriculture is already taxed, ladies and gentlemen. It's just primary products that are not taxed, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about reducing on the disposable income. When they reduce the disposable income, people will not be able to save and invest, ladies and gentlemen. And we tax the investments, because when you invest, you start up a business. How are you widening the tax base, yet people are not investing? A few questions.
Yes.
Do you know the term canons of taxation?
Yes.
Does it state that simplicity and transparency are key principles in taxation?
Yes, that's why taxation is not bad.
Thank you. I say it's a yes or no. Do you know that a tax system should be in line with government objectives of planning?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Those are the canons of taxation. Among the goals of government planning and development, according to the Food and Nutrition policy, is to ensure that there is food security and adequate nutrition for all the people of Uganda, for their wealth, for their well-being, for their economic, social, and health well-being. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask another question. Should tax policies prioritize wealth redistribution? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you very much. She has said yes. Ladies and gentlemen, when you tax the primary products of agriculture, first of all, these people suffer two burdens. One, climatic conditions, changes in climatic conditions. They have two burdens to tackle: changes in climatic conditions and the burden of tax, ladies and gentlemen. That means it's going to affect food security. And ladies and gentlemen, will you eat the tax or will you eat food? Can somebody work without food? Answer me, August House. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask another question. Do you agree that tax evasion undermines the integrity of the tax system? Yes or no? Do you agree that tax evasion undermines the integrity of the tax system? All right, let me continue. Ladies and gentlemen, I come to you with a comprehensive work plan of widening our tax base through maintaining tax compliance, ladies and gentlemen. How are you going to tell me that people are going to collect taxes, yet they don't know anything about the tax? Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to tell somebody to collect the tax, they don't know what they're going to gain, ladies and gentlemen. They are not even seeing the gains in the system of taxation. Look at the roads in Kampala, ladies and gentlemen. Look at our hospitals in villages, ladies and gentlemen. Why don't we just promote tax compliance by doing all what our first speaker said in his work plan, ladies and gentlemen? Tax compliance, we shall first sensitize them. We talked about a twofold sensitization, whereby we shall get information from the taxpayer, and also we shall give them our information so that we can gather it and be able to balance, ladies and gentlemen. They are talking about sensitization. They didn't tell us whether it's twofold or onefold, ladies and gentlemen. They are just going to sensitize. You're going to tell somebody, and you're not gathering what they're telling you about the tax you're going to impose on them. They talked about IFRIs, ladies and gentlemen. You saw what happened in Uganda recently, ladies and gentlemen. They talked about IFRIs. IFRIs made people close shops, ladies and gentlemen. Just imagine how much was lost that day because they didn't sensitize them about IFRIs, ladies and gentlemen. Is their approach applicable, ladies and gentlemen? I ask you that question. Ladies and gentlemen, according to digitalteachers.co.ug, cause number 2 of a narrow and ineffective tax base is high degree of tax evasion, and this can only be solved by promoting tax compliance. Thank you very much. I rest my case.
Recently in the House, the Right Honorable Speaker advocated for taxing cattle so as to increase the tax base. Which body are you going to use to combat the problems?
We talked about Parliament passing policies.
Thank you. Passing policies and implementing is different.
I talked about passing policies.
Okay, thank you. Is taxation bad?
Taxation is not bad.
Taxation is not bad. That's why we are promoting taxation of primary agricultural products. What is your status quo?
We stated it.
What is your status quo?
We gave you an understanding of
Okay.
the
Do you believe
resolution.
in equality?
Yes, I do.
You believe in equality. So if we tax primary products and other sectors, we are promoting equality. Thank you. Is the tax base of Uganda low?
Obviously.
Obvious, it is low. So you are planning for a work plan of 5 years, spending tax of Ugandans. We can't accept that. Okay. Where are you going to get the funds to sustain your work plan of 5 years?
We talked about Ministry of Finance.
Ministry
planning
of
and economic
Finance, which has
development.
come up that saying that it is low tax base in Uganda. Okay. Are we advocating for heavy taxation?
No, but it's affecting the
No, we
food
are not
security.
advocating for heavy taxation. So accept our policy. We are advocating for taxation of primary agricultural products. Did you mention about deficient budget of Uganda?
We did.
Can it cater for your plan?
Come on, yet you're
Can it
affecting.
cater for your plan?
Come on, we have other sources of taxation.
No, can it cater for your
We
plan?
have other sources of taxation.
But they are under the parliament budget, not so? Yes, so it cannot cater for your plan. Accept that. What is direct tax?
Direct taxes are those taxes that are
Okay.
charged on somebody's income and they cannot be transferred to another person.
Okay, thank you. Direct taxes purchased. So our dear judge, these people are not out. You can rest your case. If you are saying that taxation is not bad, and we in our policy, we have not said that we are going to impose the taxation, why don't you agree with our policy? We have told them importance of tax, that they are here telling us that we have not agreed with we have not informed them about the benefits of taxation. But clearly from the first speaker, we have told them that we are going to promote rural development. They are saying that again, when we tax, we are going not to promote rural-urban development. Now, where can we get the funds that will support rural-urban development without increasing the tax base of Uganda for sure? They have said that we are going to promote food insecurity in Uganda, but there is no way we can combat the problem of food insecurity without tax that will be used to support the agriculture sector of Uganda. You should note that. If they say that it is a fundamental source of food, we have not disagreed with it. It is a fundamental source of food, but however, it is a source of food, but it should also be taxed so as to make more and more and more food to secure the food security. There is nowhere, they have not told us how they are going to increase the tax base, but they are just talking about how to combat their problems of taxing in Uganda. So we don't know what you are really talking about. We are here talking about increasing the tax base, not combating problems of agriculture. They talked about increasing in prices, that if we tax, we shall increase in the prices of agricultural commodities. But cost sharing, I think it is the best, because if the secondary products or other products, if other sectors have been contributing a half, it will be shared between the primary agriculture sector and the secondary agriculture sector. With that, I rest my case. Thank you.
Okay. Debaters, thank you so much for that spirited round of debate. It was quite a heavy motion, and I thank God and you all that you have done quite enough to satisfy us at least. Any resolution normally to do with taxation involves a lot of reading. You will see in my marker location, there are glaring holes of information. For example, Team Affirmative. The moment Team Negative stepped on stage and spoke about increasing tax compliance framework, I thought of one thing: status quo. Listen to this. As of 2023-2024, URA's budget was increased by an extra 77.9 billion. As of 2024-2025, the budget has been increased by an additional 167 billion. Guess its purpose? To recruit new staff for the purpose of increase in tax compliance. Guess what my first answer to them would be? The status quo does not support your implementation. It is already being done. But because you're not informed, you cannot give that rebuttal. Next up, Team Affirmative, Team Negative. As a result of increasing URA's expenditure by 77.9 billion, it correlated into an extra budgetary collection in the second quarter of the national of the collection exercise by URA of 16.4%. URA realized revenue of over 50 billion shillings over what it had estimated because of an increase in its budget. But because you're not informed, you cannot use that information.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I also want to begin by appreciating both teams, Team Affirmative and Team Negative, for putting up such a spirited round. I also want to applaud and appreciate Team Negative for the extensive research they've made. When people get into the laws, they talked about Article 17G that provides for the duty of citizens to pay taxes. Yeah, that is really nice. That is good research. Now, when we give you a resolution, it means there is something, there is a current status quo that has been happening from which we have gotten this resolution from. And that is why we have given it to you. So we want you to resolve on what is currently in place. Now, this is a way of being persuasive, and it really builds on your style. Never just go straight to the definitions of the keywords in the resolution. No. Try to explain to the judges, where does this thing come from? For example, when I talk about, or when I give this resolution, this was a resolution that was gotten from the parliament. When we were having the argument of the IFRI system, the right honorable speaker said, no, you people, we are looking at taxing people that are bringing, for example, jeans, whereas we are not taxing people that are having 1,000 cattle. You find a person having over 1,000 or 2,000 cows. But the milk that is being gotten from these cows is never taxed. What are they taxing? The secondary products. Now, some of the things that we needed to hear in this resolution for today, we needed to hear things like primary products vis-a-vis secondary products. We want to hear Team Affirmative. Yes, what I expected, for example, Team Affirmative say, yes, we are already taxing, for example, the secondary products. But now, what are we looking at? We are also looking at the primary products. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what was in contention was not the issue of increment of tax base. What was in contention is which team has a better alternative to see to it. At the end of the day, we have been able to achieve a widening of a tax base. So we're not just looking at tax base, widening tax base. No. Who has a better strategy towards widening tax base? Now, what we have today, we have a team affirmative that is looking at, let us bring the taxation on the primary products. Well, now we are having a team negative that said, no. What about the issue of the ghost taxation system? Team negative is saying, no. Why do you bring in new policies? Yet you have already failed to implement the existing policies. We have a team negative that is looking at a perspective of, oh, why don't we intensify the tax compliance? Now, for me, this is where I base my judgment from. One, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to have with the fact that team affirmative, you have the burden of proof. And then team negative, you have the burden of refutal. Now, your burden of proof is beyond reasonable doubt. Now, for them to have a burden of refutal and the burden to provide an alternative. Now, if a person comes up and then they are telling you that, no, you know what? What about the fact that we are having agriculture? Which agriculture is the backbone of Uganda. Now, don't you think that when you go ahead and you put the taxes on the primary products at the end of the day, we are going to have food insecurity, which is against the national objectives and interests?
We are looking at a debate whereby the purpose of this debate, I'm commending Team Affirmative. You point out the purpose of this debate. What the debate was looking at is improving the tax base, and that is beautiful. Judge Solomon has told you that we were looking for comparison. Why are we taxing someone that sells a single jean trouser when we are not taxing someone who owns 100 herds of cattle? Now, moving on. Thank you for realizing the purpose of the debate, which was tax-based. However, you have a burden of proof, and we are having a policy debate. At the end of the day, personally for me, the person that won the debate was the person that actually fulfilled in proving to us that their policy can, at the end of the day, better the tax system of Uganda. Now, Team Affirmative, having the burden of proving to us that your work plan is going to work out. They ask you questions like, who is going to fund you? Meanwhile, your house was actually the Ministry of Finance, and you're talking about taxes. So how will Ministry of Finance help you there? However, Team Negative does not rebut that, so that doesn't count. Moving on, they talk about tax evasion. That is why they keep on pointing out to you that even if, that was my deciding factor, that even if we actually taxed these people, even if you people had an achievable work plan, at the end of the day, people are going to evade your taxes. For second speaker, Team Affirmative, you were very good for me as well. Now, moving on to the marks, I gave 15 for team affirmative style, 12, your style was very poor, basing on your 2 speakers. Moving, I gave 22 for content, the both of you, 21 to team affirmative on strategy, and 26 on strategy for team negative, totaling up to 61 for team negative and 58 for team negative. For team affirmative, it is a unanimous decision that team negative takes the day.